and welcome to Sibos 2018 in Sydney. I'm Hannah Wallace, and with me now is Paul Stoddart of Vocalink and Colleen Taylor of Mastercard, and we're going to be talking about the global adoption of real-time payments sparking industry innovation. Hello to you both. Thank you very much for speaking with me.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for having me.
Paul, coming to you first, which markets would you say are ahead of the curve when it comes to adopting new real-time applications?
So I think we've seen really quite a rapid adoption of real-time payments over the last 2 years in particular. If you look forward another 2 years, we'll have around 80% of global GDP markets will be real-time enabled. So this is something that's caught up on us, I think, on everyone. And part of the reason why Mastercard acquired Vocalink last year. So I think we've seen Europe obviously move forward early with the UK taking the leading role. Quite recently we've seen the US catch up, having implemented a new real-time payments platform. We're now expecting to see traction, particularly in 2019 in the markets as all the banks come on board. But actually there's no one region that I think is that far ahead of anyone else. Actually all of the regions from Asia, Latin America and Africa are now starting to see real traction. And I think initially we saw person-to-person payments being the first real application, but Colleen's going to give you a little bit more insight into how that application landscape is really building. And beyond the consumer and retail, I think we'll see B2B following probably from 2020 onwards.
All right, and Colleen, coming to you, following the global adoption of real-time payments, what are some of the recent innovations you feel are having the greatest impact on the consumer?
Last year, the US actually implemented the real-time payment infrastructure. Now it's about building applications on top of that infrastructure. And one of the things we're really excited about is the ability to actually change fundamentally the bill payment environment in the US. Today there are more than 15 billion transactions done each year, and the majority of those transactions are done via check. If in fact a consumer is making an online payment, they're doing that online payment by going directly to a different biller site. So with each consumer making somewhere between 10 and 15 bill exchanges each month, they are having a hard time because they have to remember credentials for each of those sites. So we're really excited about real-time payments as it relates to its ability to fundamentally change the bill payment environment. In the past, in the US, consumers were actually making their bill payment either via check, or they're going to do it online, but they're going to individual biller sites. What's problematic about that is the consumer has to remember credentials for each of those bill payment sites. And that could mean that you're remembering credentials for anywhere between 10 and 15 different biller sites. Well, that's not a great experience, a very fragmented experience. And the reason consumers go to the biller site is they want confirmation that the payment was actually made when it was made. Today, bank bill pay sites can't give you the confirmation. They can only confirm that the instruction was made. And the payment comes sometimes 2, 3, even up to 7 days later. So with real-time payments, we have the ability to pull in a confirmation of the actual payment when the consumer makes the payment. So that's what is the foundation of how this whole thing will be transformed. I think the other thing that's really important to remember is there's a lot more data that can travel along with the payment in the real-time payment environment. And so the consumer can actually make the payment, get a confirmation, actually see the bill, make an adjustment, and the real-time exchange of messaging is what actually facilitates this new environment.
All right, and following on from that quite nicely then, how have some of the recent innovations helped tackle the issue of security when leveraging real-time rails?
Well, I believe that with real-time payment comes real-time fraud. The fraudsters are really smart, and they're actually looking for ways to actually dupe not only consumers but also businesses as well. We've done a lot of work at Mastercard around artificial intelligence to understand how fraud is happening. We bought 2 companies over the last couple of years, New Data and Brighterion, that actually are focused in on the artificial intelligence component of it. But additionally, Vocalink has done quite a bit of work foundationally with the Faster Payments Network, and maybe Paul, you can take a little bit of insight into that.
So I think, as Colleen said, faster payments, faster fraud, potentially. Certainly means we need to work harder to trap that fraud and prevent it from happening again. So we launched a service earlier this year, a few weeks ago actually, with all of the UK banks. We call it AML Insights, or Money Mules for short. And what that does is it looks at all the payments going through the clearing system, and it looks for anomalies in the behavior of those payments, typically behavior akin to money muling or criminal gangs moving money through the network. So we're delighted with that service. As I said, all the banks in the UK have signed up to it, and we're in conversations with a number of markets around the world about taking that service out to other markets. I think the second part of product development helping with security and risk management is the use of aliases or directories to prevent the need to display account numbers or routing numbers in any open transaction environment. So if I want to send you money, then all I need to know about you really is your mobile phone number or your email address or some other kind of national identifier. We've seen this type of service take off all over the world. It's now part of our instant payment or real-time payments platform that we offer to other markets. And it's rapidly becoming a standard service where it can enable P2P payments, but also retail, bill, and now also B2B payments.
Paul, Colleen, this has been great. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And thank you for watching.